and it will be the players of Australia and Great Britain who will take centre stage here in Wigan tonight. Victory for Britain would ensure their place in the Tri-Nations final on the 27th of November, but they have lost their last 6 home meetings with the Aussies. It's their worst ever sequence, is 7 home defeats, and that came along between 1978 and 1986. And there's the man in the middle, Mr. Glenn Black from New Zealand. No discussion about him this week, despite the fact that in the first match he blew for only 7 penalties 2 weeks ago. Great Britain enjoyed 4 of those. Andy Farrell on home soil, Paul Sculthorpe, and the Aussies in the crowd hoping that tonight will be their night. A British win, Steve-O, eh?
Well, we hope so. We often talk about the fact that we are not supposed to be biased, but we have been getting closer and nearer, and maybe tonight is the night, especially in full. A full house tonight will help them on.
And the first challenge of this game 5 of the Gillette Tri-Nations. And Adrian Morley eventually gets to his feet, plays the ball, and this is Andy Farrell. It will be ferocious early. And this is Danny McGuire. No, it isn't. This is Stuart Fielden. He's a little bit bigger than Danny McGuire. There is long, and it goes wide. And that is Sculthorpe. Newton, infield, Morley. That's the last tackle. Great Britain still penned inside their own half. Expect the kick. It will come maybe from long. There it is, and his kicking game wasn't crash hot 2 weeks ago, and that's not a great start.
Well, it's one thing that we have to improve on, and Brian Noble, the Great Britain coach, is fully aware of that. Little doubt they've been working on that department, but that was not a good start.
Craig Fitzgibbon back in the side. 3 goals against New Zealand at Loftus Road. Injured, he missed the Great Britain match 2 weeks ago. Great Britain cannot give away penalties tonight and expect Australia to miss them with that fellow on the field. We're up to the 4th tackle. This is Civoniceva driving the ball forward, and Fielden was there to halt him. That's the last tackle here. They're midway inside the British half of the field. It's Kimmorley who'll dab the ball down the line, and he will find Reardon, the 2-try hero of last week against New Zealand. That's great defence, terrific defence, led by Berrigan, who lifted Reardon up and pushed him to within a metre of his own line.
Unbelievable that, Eddie, mainly due to the fact that the Australian kick was absolutely spot on. It allowed to have the
penalty to Great Britain, offside at the play of the ball.
Well, that is a big relief, because the kicking game from Australia was superb there, and so was the chase. And he's got them for about 4 or 5 on the left-hand side. It's amazing, isn't it? You mentioned, Eddie, that Glenn Black, the New Zealand referee, only gave away 7, and he's got off to a flying start. He's got 6 more to do.
Well, the crowd were on his back immediately before that and encouraging him to blow the whistle. That he did. That's why Britain are on the 2nd tackle of this set of 6. And here now, across halfway, goes Sculthorpe.
A lot of people are expecting that both sides are going to play tough in the forwards. Of course they will, but I think the side that's going to win tonight is going to be a little bit more adventurous. And there is penalty number 2. Buderus all over the top. And Sculthorpe, well, his experience showing there. Buderus saying, well, I tried my best, but Sculthorpe was over his knees. Rule states, get out of the way.
2-0 the penalty count in Great Britain's favour, and here comes Fielden again, and he flicks the ball away to McGuire, who finds Sculthorpe. Here is Farrell. Farrell through the dummy. Australia nearly took it. He releases the pass to Long, and Long will attack them, and then spin it on the bounce, and it lands in the arms of Martin Gleeson, and Gleeson gets away. He has Carney out wide. That's forward.
He'll bring them back, will Glenn Black to New Zealand. They think that they've prevented the try. Pretty calm, collected Brian Noble, but good work from Martin Gleeson. He got away from his opposite partner there, and we'll have to wait and see whether it's... No, it wasn't pulled out. I thought maybe that Luke Rooney had got a hand to that. The official got it spot on. But good work by Gleeson, showing his strength there.
The Australians, just 2 previous visits to this ground. They won 28-8 in the Ashes decider of 2001. That was notable because Chris Anderson suffered a suspected heart attack that night. And then last year they won 22-18 here in the first test of the Ashes series. Now the Australians have a penalty as we look at the head-to-head all matches. The Australia now with 70 victories to their name. This the 135th match between the two countries at all levels.
Well, this is amazing, isn't it? The official just completely ignored all that messing around and they play the ball in the last occasion that these two met. And now he seems to have got whistle-itis already.
3 penalties in the opening 4 minutes 41 seconds. This is Webcke, arguably the best prop forward in the world at the moment. Webcke. Fielden and Morley would maybe argue that point. This is Fitzgibbon.
Pretty solid defence by Britain. You can see
Scott Hill now, first touch for him.
You can see that they're coming up as a unit.
Great offload, Buderus. He finds Kimmorley.
There's problems for Fielden.
Kimmorley!
Fielden's got a knock in the eye. What a take.
Picked up by Scott Hill. He gets it wide. This is Tonga. Britain having to muscle up in defence out there. And can they force him over the line? Yes, they can.
Wonderful stuff.
Wayne Bennett. That was the first real chance for Australia.
Certainly got through the first attempted tackle, but they did ever so well. Certainly got the numbers there. They needed to as well. Big night for this fella. The Australians well aware of this quality.
Well, he played for England A in the match last year against Australia at Brentford and was highly impressive that night, and he was impressive in the second half last week against the Kiwis.
Certainly was. The man's got plenty of ability, we understand that. Talking about that particular game last year, remember Anderson, the Australian coach, when asked if there was anything out there that he was frightened of, and he said, oh, just a bunch of kids trying their best. He knew the quality. He didn't want him selected for Great Britain. Well,
he is tonight, and this is now Adrian Morley. They all know about him, of course, in this Australian side. Morley plays for the Sydney Roosters down under. That's a great ball from Sculthorpe to Long. Nearly opened them up. That's the last tackle.
Beautiful inside pass, remember. Fortnight ago, it was the inside pass from...
Poor kick again, but Minichiello missed it.
Just saying, Eddie, the inside pass from Paul Sculthorpe, remember, it put Peacock through a gaping hole. It nearly was recovered there by the halfback.
Great Britain have got to bring the man down. They cannot let him offload like that. And this is Rooney. And here is Tonie Carroll. And that's a little grab by Long, and then eventually Senior gets to him. And Berrigan for Australia. 10 metres inside his own half on the third tackle. Buderus. Hindmarsh. Tries to bounce off Peacock, gets to halfway. Buderus again. And Kimmorley. And whoa, a mistake. Fitzgibbon.
Took his eye off the ball at the crucial moment. But we see the Australians quite happy to get the ball out wide. Should have taken it, just had a little bit of a look. He had McGuire right in front of him. Plenty of experience, this fella.
Ian Millwood is with us here tonight at the JJB Stadium. Hostile territory for the St Helens coach, but our honorary pond tonight, Ian. A match that Great Britain can win.
Well, I've got to say, you talk about hostile atmosphere. This is one atmosphere here at the moment. It feels like a cup final, not a game eligible to get in the Tri-Nations. Very interested in early games, Eddie, the amount of ball Great Britain have had. They've probably had a lot of ball that's been controlled possession. And tonight, even early, as we can see here with some passing, they are starting to move the ball around, and I think it's the way they've got to go against Australia. Interesting, a lot of ball. I know you've mentioned a couple of times already about the kicking game. Keep in mind, the 3 best players so far, positional-wise, have been the fullbacks. Webb for New Zealand, Minichiello for Australia, and Wellens for Great Britain. They've been outstanding with their positional. That makes it hard for the kick, but also the pressure. Australia do put a lot of pressure on the kicker.
Here now is Farrell, and there's the kick. It goes up in the air. And there's a chance here, but not when Minichiello's underneath it.
Wonderful.
A point actually emphasising exactly what Ian Millwood was saying there. The fullbacks, the three fullbacks, they've been magnificent.
I have to agree with him, and what a take there, Minichiello. Under a lot of pressure. It was a good build-up by the British side.
Flying tackle there by Morley on Luke Rooney. This is good pressure from the British defence. Webcke couldn't get over the advantage line.
Interesting to see there that the prop forward, Shane Webcke, he pushed people out of the way to make sure he got that football. He knows the experience. He's got to just calm it down slightly.
Kimmorley with the kick over the top. That goes in between Reardon and Wellens, but on the bounce, again, not a brilliant kick from Webcke, and Reardon can move this ball forward once again. The two-try hero of the win against New Zealand last week. 15 tries this year for Bradford Bulls, and some impressive performances on the wing. This is Wellens, the British fullback.
Well, the difference between that kick, Eddie, is in the fact that it did hit terra firma. You know, if you split the fullback and the winger, you've got an extra couple of metres to gain on the opposition.
Terry Newton gets it away to Danny McGuire. He finds Shaun Long. Great ball from Long to Farrell. And good defence from Webcke, muscling up there as well. Also Berrigan with the tackle. McGuire, the pass.
Good to see McGuire. Good to see McGuire getting himself involved early.
Morley plays the ball to Newton. There's Sculthorpe with the kick to the corner. That's hanging. Carney's after it, couldn't get it, claimed over on that far side. And it's Luke Rooney who had hands on the football.
Second occasion they've gone for the high bomb, this time into the corner, but fused well by the winger Rooney. Again under a lot of pressure. Carney realised that he was just about to make contact and pulled away at the last moment because he knew that Rooney was in mid-air.
Hindmarsh tackled low by Newton, helped out by Peacock to finish him off. Here's Kimmorley, comes wide, gets a stretch forward. For that did Berrigan, and he's escaped the net almost. Well, almost.
Looking to get away with that. That looked as though it was drifting forward.
Kimmorley dabs the kick over the top. Kimmorley is leading the chase. Wellens allowing it to bounce. He gets it on the try line. And Wellens trying to step Brett Kimmorley, but he couldn't do so. We'll play the ball here to Carney. And Carney running at Buderus.
Good work from the winger, making sure that he took the pressure off. But again, we saw an excellent kick by the halfback, Brett Kimmorley.
This is Keith Senior, Ian Millwood. It's building up into quite a match, this.
Gee, I'll tell you what, the speed's great, but also it's interesting to see some of the tactics early. When Great Britain attack their left-hand side, Australia's right. I can barely hear myself here with this crowd. It's a fantastic atmosphere. But just the smaller men, where you got Berrigan and Kimmorley, and then Carroll, just turning the ball back on the inside against the grain to back to people like Farrell and Senior with their size. It's causing a little bit of problem and creating some unloads down this left-hand side. But, you know, I mean, it's everything what we expected. You know, both teams going hammer and tong early. And I've got to say, at the moment, Kimmorley does look like an orchestra in front of his musicians at the moment. Don't forget, him and Hill, I think, will give them greater shape, Steve-O, than they achieved with probably Gower and Kimmorley in the last game. What do you think?
They certainly will. I mean, they certainly know each other. But talking about Brett Kimmorley, certainly give maybe misshape rather than shape, because that was a high shot on Stuart Fielden that really should have brought a penalty for the red, white and blue boys.
Matt Singh drove the ball forward. He is the longest serving member of this kangaroo party, Matt Singh. This now is Fitzgibbon. Buderus on halfway, and Webcke managed to keep hold of that despite the attentions of Stuart Fielden.
Well, the hooker delayed the pass, had a big red cross in it.
Kimmorley wide, and here is Scott Hill. These two played together so often, Scott Hill and Brett Kimmorley. Here's Buderus attacking them up the middle.
Can't afford to do that. Buderus just sneaking away from the dummy half position.
And Kimmorley, crossfield kick. Good kick too. There is a host of green and golds there. There's the try for Luke Rooney. A try from nothing. The referee just wants to check that he was onside. But it was a crossfield kick that bamboozled the British defence. And I think if Rooney's onside, there's no question he's got his 6th try in internationals. Kimmorley's kick.
Yeah, he's onside, plenty of room. This will be a try, but not the best attempt from the British. He's going to be another thorn in our side yet again, Brett Kimmorley. He did it last year on the Kangaroo Tour over to this country, but that was not good play. McGuire and Gleeson failed to talk to each other. Momentum takes him over. No definite movement of the left arm. And the man Rooney has done it again to the British boys. This will be TRY.
Try is given to Luke Rooney to almost deafening silence here in Wigan. What a record Luke Rooney has got in Test match football already. 6 tries, and this is only his 4th cap.
Very poor. Not the kick, that was superb, but look at this. You don't hang around. You've got to make sure you go for the football, and they failed to do that. Why on earth? They just looked at each other. McGuire and Gleeson, they certainly weren't speaking to each other.
Fitzgibbon does not miss those, and Australia have a 6-0 advantage here at Wigan in the Tri-Nations. It will be a scoreline this that will bring a smile to the face of Daniel Anderson, the New Zealand coach, who we'll be hearing from at half-time. Because it means, if it stays like this, if Australia hold on and win the match, that New Zealand live on.
They certainly do. And talking about putting a smile on the face, my lovely daughter, Alyssa, in Australia, she's turned 18 today. And she'll have a big smile knowing that the Australians have taken the lead.
And Daddy will be home soon, Alyssa. Well, 1 year anyway.
You know, interesting thing already, Eddie, in the game. We talk about Kimmorley's control, but the way Buderus is just carting the ball upfield around the rucks and creating doubt and some creativity, and forwards coming on the ball. They have an ace up their sleeve also with wing. Do Great Britain have that? When Newton gets tired, who is the person who's going to come on and create that for Australia? Australia's got 2, Great Britain 1. I think that could be a real issue as the game unfolds.
And Ian, I know you were a big supporter, obviously, of your own Mickey Hyam. You believe he should be on the bench.
Well, I just think it's really hard in the modern game, especially with the Australian forwards. You've got to keep bending them backwards around that area. I think even Diskin could have done that, the Leeds kid. I think they need 2 in there, but Eddie.
Well, at the moment, Australia are bossing this. It's Minichiello who gives it to Civoniceva, who's found Kimmorley, and Kimmorley is starting to run riot. And this now is Willie Tonga, and they've fallen off the tackles, and they have a man on the inside. It's a good job that Sculthorpe was there to pull him down. Minichiello.
Super play by Willie Tonga there, showed all his strength.
Lovely kick from Kimmorley, and Wellens cannot get the ball out of the in-goal area, and they're going to have a repeat set of 6, the Australians.
It's all about the power play, and Australia are certainly doing that. Quite confident to get the ball out wide, and the little chip over the top. Good job that Paul Wellens has been in fine form. He read it well.
Well, Kimmorley has been a thorn in the side of Great Britain so many times, and Wayne Bennett knows his quality. And all right, there is no Darren Lockyer, there's no Craig Gower tonight, but Kimmorley and Hill is a formidable partnership, and Kimmorley's running the show at the minute.
Well, I think I made comment in the first game that he was not selected. That's how strong this Australian outfit is. As you say, to lose a player of the quality of Lockyer, and then you just drop this fella back into it. And it's the same with Scott Hill. Both Kimmorley and Hill actually played, I think, as 11-year-olds. So they know what's happening out there.
Well, Hill's a gifted and underrated footballer, and he's never lost at international level, by the way. And the British defence is being examined here. They're 10 metres away, Australia. Berrigan to Kimmorley. Here is Hindmarsh. And Hindmarsh, Morley gets to him, along with Sculthorpe. Tackle standing up, tackle completed. Buderus, they'll go down the left-hand side. Hill, a lovely kick, a weighted kick, but just too deep. Brian Carney and Britain will breathe a sigh of relief.
Again, wonderful build-up. They're just hanging back. They're a little bit stunned to Great Britain at the moment. It's been absolutely superb play by Australia. They're doing everything right.
Peacock for Great Britain. I remember, Steve, way back in 1997, that World Club Championship that we had between all the Australian teams, all the British teams in Super League of that year. And Scott Hill and Brett Kimmorley that year, they stood out like a beacon.
They're quality players, world class. We mentioned before the kickoff that beautiful crowd here, millions watching on television, that you are looking at the finest of rugby league talent.
This is Wellens, he's cracked to the ground, but that's the last. They're only just over the halfway line. I'm reminded, of course, that Hill and Kimmorley in that World Club Challenge played for Hunter Mariners in that. And that was Singh, and the ball bounced, I think, off his chest. There were screams from the terraces of a possible knock-on. This will tell us.
Well, it was a better kick, and he did well. Spread the arms, no doubt about it, made sure that the official couldn't make an error. They often do.
This is Luke Rooney again.
Oh, that looks a touch forward.
And Fitzgibbon.
I must say, Buderus on a few occasions just delaying the pass somewhat. Obviously tactics by Wayne Bennett, the coach. Try to get over that advantage line as quickly as possible.
Tonie Carroll will play the ball to Buderus. This now is Kimmorley again, flicks the ball on the inside to Minichiello. Grounded on halfway on the last tackle by Farrell and by Adrian Morley. And the kick bounces off Keith Senior. He didn't play at that, though. That will be the turnover. 10 metres inside the British half. The ball played the man, says referee Glenn Black.
That's the first poor kick we've seen from the green and golds. Buderus obviously looking towards the short blind side. Australia caught Great Britain out many times on that short blind side. It's obviously sometimes, you know, the pace of this game, Eddie, you know, you've got to push yourself on the blind to have a little bit of a rest.
It was a poor pass, but Farrell did well to hang on in the end.
But Steve, you've got to remember, the two poor kicks I had from Hill and Buderus, when it goes to Kimmorley, it's a 100% record at the moment.
Senior to Farrell. Oh, it's terrific defence on Farrell from Australia.
This is where Shaun Long, Danny McGuire have to really just stand up and be counted, get something organised.
Sculthorpe did well to take that in, tried to duck under the challenge. Hindmarsh pulled him down.
This is where he should be running from dummy half. That's what we've got to do. We've got to test this Australian defence. We've got to ask the question.
Last tackle here, and Newton to Long. Long down the middle again, but it went past Minichiello and Ian Millwood. I take on board what you said about the fullbacks and their wonderful positional play, but Shaun Long's kicking has been off key.
Yeah, I've got to keep saying these three fullbacks. Webb, I thought, is playing out of his skin for New Zealand. Minichiello, he's got speed, so when you think you can see the space, he's got the speed to anticipate, and he's got the legs to get there. I've got to say, but Australia do put pressure on you, which even makes the task a little bit harder. But I think the key for Shaun is he's got to find the ground. When it finds the ground, it moves around, and the rolling ball gives them time to get around. And a little bit more, as you know, in the weather over here, even though it's been a fantastic day weather-wise, you do get that little bit of dew on the grass.
And Shaun Long will be as anxious as anyone to turn this situation round for Great Britain.
You see the Australians, they're not making any mistake at all. If you can see that the Great Britain 1 and 2
brilliant kick over the top by Kimmorley, and it bounces perfectly for him as well. Not the best kick though on the second attempt, and Carney will counter.
Great work from the Irishman there, Carney. Could realise there was danger, but again, the man who is an absolute nuisance has done it again.
This is Ryan Bailey now for Great Britain on as a substitute. Fitzgibbon all over the top of him, and the penalty comes. Fitzgibbon thought it was a little bit harsh.
No, it was silly play there. It was all over the man with the football.
There is Bailey who got the penalty. Did you notice that Willie Mason is on for Australia?
You know, Steve, I don't want to keep harping on about Kimmorley, but they've got to terrorise him when he's going to kick. He's getting too much time and too much space. His kicks are 100%, and he looks lethal, but the time he's getting, he's got to be terrorised.
He's pulling all the strings at the moment.
He certainly is, but he's got the quality to make sure that he gives himself space.
McGuire, and the pass to Long. Here is Wellens. Kimmorley, Berrigan in there very quickly with Willie Mason to bring the British fullback down. Now then, Keith Senior. Had a great season in the Super League for Leeds. This is Newton. Newton tries to get away, gets the ball away to Long, and Long trying to dance his way through. That's a great run.
Better play there. Good work from Terry Newton.
Newton, and he finds McGuire. It goes wide to Sculthorpe, further wide to Gleeson. And Gleeson is grounded over on the far side. Plays the ball quickly to Carney. Carney then to Sculthorpe. A stab in. It's arrived. And they're all after it. Newton, I think, has touched down. It all depends.
But has he?
It all depends how the ball came out then.
I don't think he he touched it. I think he may have missed it. It was a great kick from Sculthorpe, putting it to ground. He's onside. This is okay. But I'm not so sure that his arms get to it.
The Australians are asking the referee to call into question the play the ball over on the far side as well.
Doesn't matter that. This, now then. Well, he's made a real error here. Long,
that's off the legs of Long. Let's play on.
This is all right now. Does he get it down? Or does he miss it?
No, he gets it.
This will be TRY then for Newton. Long put pressure on Minichiello, and it came off the fullback. TRY.
Try for Newton. He sparked Great Britain last week against New Zealand, and it looks like he might have done it again. The try is given. Terry Newton with the try on this, his home ground. The man who put Britain on the road to victory last week has put Britain on the road to level pegging here.
And it all came about by wonderful build-up by the man who scored the try, Newton. From the dummy half, we could see there that this Australian defence had moved through. Neat little kick. It was well deserved. Okay, they got the luck of the bounce. You could see there Long certainly put off the fullback Anthony Minichiello, but this is the moment. There you see Long puts him into the position. Australian defence struggling to get back. They were at 6s and 7s. Newton scores. Will Farrell complete?
Yes, he does. The scores are level here in Wigan. It's Great Britain 6, Australia 6. Newton's pass and a wonderful scampering run from Shaun Long. And maybe Brian Noble, John Sharp and company are breathing just a touch easier now. That's exactly what Britain needed, gentlemen.
Certainly was, but good work also by Shaun Long. There's a try scorer, Terry Newton, but the ability of Shaun Long to make sure that he put the pressure on the fullback. He just hesitated a bit, did Minichiello. Result, 4 points, turned to 6 for Great Britain.
But let's give every player a pat on the back at the moment too, Steve. There's been 2 tries and they've been from kicks, and that's a real good emphasis. The defence has been very solid, and the only way through has been the kick. So I think it's a big rap for defence at the moment. Great chase, great field position by Great Britain, but how do you break the deadlock? At the moment, it's a try from a kick.
6 apiece then, just over the midway point of this first half, and Farrell standing and trying to get away, and almost does. How he would love to come out on top against Australia tonight to crown his season of 2004 and then get to the final at Ellen Road and win it. There's another penalty. They're all over Great Britain on the deck, and Bailey is causing them all sorts of trouble.
And I'll tell you the reason as well, is that Ryan Bailey is also struggling, wriggling, getting everything around, and he's having a few words to say to the Australians. Wayne Bennett not too impressed.
Well, the referee has just said to Buderus, it's for you to sort out, otherwise he will start sitting them down. So they're on a warning, Australia. And by the way, Ryan Bailey, 21 years of age, Thursday of this week. So congratulations to him, and he's had an impact on this Test match, this Tri-Nations match already, and here he is again.
You can see there that Australia losing their cool.
That's Mark O'Mealy who's on. Here is Sculthorpe.
But Mark O'Mealy went very, very late into the tackle. And Great Britain have got him rattled. Sculthorpe's gone with the fist.
And that was Farrell found senior, and he almost got through the gap. Here is Newton. It comes back in centre field with Farrell. He brushes off from Kimmorley, finds Long, and that's a good ball to Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe's grounded 10 metres away from the line. Newton waits at dummy half. Britain's confidence has lifted. Great ball. This is Bailey. He was fed by Farrell, and he continues on. A metre away. Newton waits. Newton to Farrell. Wide it goes to Reardon. Reardon! He gets it down. I think that's on the line, and that's a try. The referee will hand it on to the video ref to check, but Reardon's come up with a try.
I'm not so sure, Eddie. His first impact, he's in the field of play. It was wonderful footwork, wasn't it? Matt Singh, but the first time he puts it down, it's
on the line. That's the try.
It
That's a try.
It is now, but watch it here. First time impact, it's short.
On the line.
And then he rolls it.
That's a try.
It's a wide line, Eddie.
It's a wide line. It can be as wide as you like. This is a try.
On the line's a try, Steve-O.
Let's see what the video ref says. He agrees. Britain ahead. Stuart Reardon. What a series this kid's having.
Great work. Got the ball out quickly. And what wonderful footwork. Remember last week, Reardon's second try, he picked up an awful pass on the half volley to turn it against the Kiwis. And they've done it again. Look at that. Superb pass from Farrell. He rolls the ball over. Certainly gets the impact on the ground in the field of play there and rolls it over. No second movement. It's a try time, but watch the pass from Farrell. Misses out Senior. And you can see there that Matt Singh was left in absolutely no man's land. What an effort.
Great effort from Reardon, and Farrell way out on the touchline. Well, he knows every blade of grass of this stadium, and he has kicked them from here for Wigan for fun. A big kick for the British captain. He's got the angle. He's got the two. And Great Britain lead by 12 points to 6.
Great play. Look at Matt Singh. He thinks that Senior's going to get the football, but he ain't. Boom. Reardon could have chanced his arm on the outside, but he took the best option, the little step. And that was a confirmation that Glenn Black needed. What a turnaround. A lot more enthusiasm in attack there.
Well, the Australians have been stung now. They trail here at Wigan, and here is Carney.
The funny thing about it is, though, Eddie, because normally the Australians are so composed, they took a 6-point lead, and then for some unknown reason started giving penalties away.
Long, looking for a 40-20, but Minichiello is quick.
That's a poor kick yet again.
We're back to the point that Ian was making. Well, he is so quick across the ground, Minichiello.
The thing is, it's 12-6. We're leading by 6 points. Why not put the ball into touching goal and put the scrum down?
Yeah, I've got to say, I was watching Minichiello there, Steve-O, and his anticipation in the middle field was outstanding. But, you know, I mean, you've got to say at the moment, who's the better team out of this team? At the moment, the record books say Australia. In their last 4 encounters, the biggest margin's been 6 points by Australia. But when you look at them here, when either team gets in each other half, you think they've got the ability to score. They've also got the ability to defend. So, you know, I mean, there's nothing between these two teams.
There's nothing between all 3 of them in this Tri-Nations, to be fair. It's a magnificent contest. That's a poor kick from Kimmorley. Here comes Carney.
I think the key there was pressure on Kimmorley, and he comes up with an error, or not a positive kick. Not an error, but not a positive kick.
Farrell. Shaun Long. Kimmorley was high.
Certainly was.
Reardon with the confidence. Just couldn't get away from first Kimmorley, then Berrigan and Carroll.
Just calming down a little bit, Great Britain.
Morley leaves the field. This is Danny McGuire. He gets a good ball away to Sculthorpe, who finds Gleeson. That's the last tackle for Great Britain. Sculthorpe waits. Comes in field to McGuire. He helps it on to Long. There's the kick. This time it will skim its way to touch. Well, that's all you need to do.
Can I tell you something, Steve? He didn't mean to do that.
I know that.
Come off his boot.
It doesn't matter, but the object, he comes up with a positive situation. It stops Australia from getting the momentum, getting the roll on. Now you can get one line of defence against the Australians. Adrian Morley on the sideline.
Well, this virus that's been sweeping through the British camp, I hope that Morley isn't a victim of it. Although I think that maybe he was this week. And here is Willie Mason. But remember what he did in the first meeting. And Sculthorpe and Carney say that was a knock-on. The officials disagree. This is Scott Hill as Australia carry on. Buderus down that short side.
A lot better defence by Great Britain. They're moving up. A couple of occasions in this first half, they've just hung back.
Goes wide to Rooney. And the last tackle.
Must come up as a unit, and that's what they're doing now.
Buderus. Now Scott Hill. Oh, it's a high, it's a hanging kick. And too deep. Oh, yeah, well, it bounced on the line. Well, they took a chance there, did Paul Wellens and Stuart Reardon. If that would have been 6 inches the other way,
yeah, it could have been in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you do make an interesting point about kicking the ball in the touch there, but Steve-O, is momentum in games. If you look in the first period there, the momentum was Australia. They got the ball, some repeat sets in goal, and the momentum was their way. Now it's gone back Great Britain's way. You don't want to turn the momentum back Australia. It's a bit like a one-day cricket game. You want them blocking the singles and taking the twos. And when they start swashbuckling, that's when you're in trouble.
And that's why it's so important to put the scrum down, because both sides can just relax, get their defences sorted out. So important, but we've started playing the ball a lot quicker as well.
Another kick down from Farrell is straight down the throat of Minichiello again. He's not a bad player though, is he? McGuire misses him, but he did enough to stop the momentum, and Long and McGuire are like two little terriers.
He's a brilliant player, and that's why you don't kick to him.
Sydney Roosters full-back Anthony Minichiello we're talking about. You're looking at the bench with Craig Wing, Andrew Ryan, Willie Mason and Mark O'Mealy. 4 players there who played in the NRL Grand Final. They're on the bench. How strong is this side? And look at this run here from Minichiello. What a great tackle from the Wellens.
What a great offload from Willie Mason as well. It looked as though the tackle had been completed.
Hill to Kimmorley. Now it's with Mason. Mason offloads to Wing. Oh, they've got Wing, and Wing has got one ahead of him. Great tackle. Terry Newton, last line of defence. It's with Scott Hill. The kick to the in goal, and Carney will run the ball over the dead ball line.
Great kick. Wonderful play by Brian Carney. It had to be as well, but the pass from Willie Mason is world class. Oh, wonderful stuff that. But what about the tackle here from the hooker?
Not a bad full-back, is he? Terry Newton. Had to make the tackle, Terry Newton, and did. But it's a goal-line dropout to the Aussies.
Well, he scored the try that got them back on track against the Kiwis. He's done it again tonight with a try from the Sculthorpe kick.
When Australia bring Craig Wing on, though, and Wayne Bennett sends the message down, get Wing on, Australia seem to step up a gear.
Well, of course they do, because it brings them on, does Wayne Bennett, when the opposition is getting a little bit tired. The pace of this game certainly taking its effect.
Morley has just bounced one of the British players out of the way. I think it was Peacock. Here is Webcke. Stands Farrell and Newton and brings him down. There is Craig Wing of the Roosters. This is Kimmorley. Here's Scott Hill. Scott Hill trying to dance his way. What a ball. Well, I was going to say what a ball. And Britain have got it back in the shape of Ryan Bailey, because Craig Wing knocked the ball forward.
Pretty difficult to offload in heavy traffic, and that certainly was the fact with Scott Hill there. Just trying to force the pace. Good work from Bailey, got himself involved.
There's Carney again.
Good work now, quick play the ball.
Important there, though, Steve-O, that Britain survived that extra set of 6 from the goal line dropout.
Certainly was, but you wonder whether Terry Newton, was he having a rest, or has he been told to drop back into the full-back position?
Oh, and they wasn't waiting for that, Terry Newton. The ball shot out from Sculthorpe. Absolutely brilliantly offloaded this off the deck. And Terry Newton wasn't watching.
Oh, you've got to make sure you keep your eye on the football at all time. And there you see the captain, Andy Farrell, saying, come on, concentrate.
Well, you said it was a world-class offload by Willie Mason. It was. So was that from Sculthorpe. Unfortunately, Newton not watching.
You've got to watch it.
Scott Hill. Good defence. Berrigan. Webcke. Offloads. And Sculthorpe does a great job on Minichiello.
Beautiful.
And they're asking for another knock-on. Doesn't come. Wing. Mason. Great defence from Peacock.
That's what you need. You don't go high on the big fella.
Here's Craig Wing again, the man with the dancing feet, and he finds Kimmorley, flicks it to Webcke, and Webcke bounces one out the way, offloads. Great run from Craig Wing again, halted by Senior. This is Tonie Carroll. Now it's with Brett Kimmorley.
Oh, what a hit.
He's not down, and he managed to offload to Minichiello, despite the attention of Gareth Ellis. Minichiello still wrestled to the ground by Bailey on the last. Craig Wing, Kimmorley, kick to the corner, and Carney does well.
From the field of play, referee Glenn Black got it absolutely spot on. A lot of the British players were claiming that he defused the ball, but he hadn't. He came from within the field of play. Great take, though.
Good refereeing from Glenn Black.
And good work from Martin Gleeson there. He took Rooney out well and proper.
I'll tell you what, Steve-O, a test of a team's desire and attitude and all their principles in defence is that when they've got to relay after double sets of 6 and handle that, then come up with an error in their half. Great Britain have done that outstanding here in the first half. When they've ever been put on the soil with double sets, they've been able to repel their line all the time. It's been a fantastic defensive effort by the Great Britain team at the moment.
Great ball from Long, and he finds Gleeson. He's got a ton of support either side. This is McGuire. McGuire helps it on, and here now there's a chance. This is Stuart. Fielden. Oh, get up, Fielden. He does. The try is given. Great Britain with another try, and that's one of the best of the Tri-Nations. That's one of the great rugby league tries scored by the big prop, Stuart Fielden. What a British try! They flooded forward in support. Fielden, his 14th successive Test appearance, his first Test try. Britain could turn round here with a 12-point advantage.
Outstanding. Look how Long just pulled the defence out there. Willie Tonga was in no man's land. They got the numbers. Wonderful offload there. McGuire, Terry Newton. He knew he had the legs. Tell you what, Ian. The St. Helens, or the former St. Helens combination, should we say, has really brought it to the fore. He had players outside, but he had the strength.
But Steve-O, you know what, I know there's some great attack, some great support, some faith in each other pass it, but that was a reward for defending your line, for those couple sets of 6 where they had to repeat sets and they come up with the error. The reward mechanism come in by their flare up the other end of the park.
And you're right, and also the fact that Andy Farrell, remember when they had the knock on Terry Newton, they put the scrum down, Andy Farrell was giving it to them saying, come on, we do not slack. You can't slack in internationals.
No, I think when you look at it, they've had a lot of control possession the last couple of days in games against Australia and New Zealand. Tonight, there's a little bit more flair in there, a little bit more urgency to offload the ball, a bit more faith.
This for an 18-6 lead, and it would mean 18 unanswered points by Great Britain against the world champions. 18 points to 6 it is. There are 60 seconds remaining. Remember what Willie Mason did at the City of Manchester Stadium 2 weeks ago against Great Britain are.
There you see it. The centre, Willie Tonga, got himself into a real mix. Undecided whether to go for the intercept. Got himself in no man's land. McGuire did well. Newton did ever so well. They were screaming for it out wide. But Fielden said it's all mine. And it is. What a turnaround.
2 minutes to go. Now then, Great Britain must try and stand firm now.
They've got to realise
to concede anything here.
They've got to realise, Eddie, they were in this good position a fortnight ago against the Australians, and remember the big fella, Willie Mason, crashed through with seconds of the first half remaining. They've got to make sure that they get good field position. This is where they put it right up the field and then get it into touch.
Oh
no!
There's the mistake from Fielden.
They'll play the first knock on.
First knock on.
Well, from hero to villain within seconds.
Just a little rush of blood, and I bet there's a rush of blood through the veins of Brian Noble as well at that moment.
Well, he knew exactly what he had to do. He was just going to cart that ball up, and then they were going to kick that right into the corner, over the touchline.
Well, listen, this is dangerous territory for Great Britain. The last minute of a half. And Scott Hill at dummy half. A jinking run coming in there, but halted by Jamie Peacock. And it was Andrew Ryan who came in with it. This is O'Mealy on his test debut.
Good defence from Great Britain. On both sides, they're coming in like an umbrella defence. They're forcing him to get into one pass only.
And they know the danger of Willie Mason. There were two hunting him there, Sculthorpe and Peacock.
But they're going for his legs this time.
Scott Hill. Pass goes wide. Here again is Andrew Ryan. That's the last tackle. They're way out there on the far side, but only 20 metres away from the British line. Kimmorley. And Kimmorley with a crossfield kick. And Reardon was looking for it. The ball bounces and Long has it. That was a knock-on by Matt Singh. So it's play on. And Britain get to halfway in this Tri-Nations match. Almost. There it is. Half-time. And Great Britain lead by 18 points to 6. Terry Newton sparked them in the match against New Zealand last week. Fielden came up with one of the great tries in International Rugby League 2 minutes from half-time. And Great Britain find themselves ahead against the world champions after 40 bruising minutes.
Great Britain on fire at the JJB Stadium in Wigan. 12-point lead at half-time, 18 points to 6, the scoreline, and a real...
But Stevo, we can count no chickens just yet.
None whatsoever, and it's important. Remember last week against the Kiwis, we were in a deep hole, and full credit to Brian Noble. He got the side up to produce some wonderful rugby league football to give the Kiwis away. But I must say it's important, probably the most important opening 15 to 20 minutes of the Great Britain side for many, many a year. Composure. They have got to try to force. If they keep their defence as solid as we saw, especially in the last 30 minutes of that first half, then we are in with a wonderful, wonderful chance. We cannot just close it down.
Andy Farrell gets us underway, the longest-serving Test captain for Great Britain. He took the role in 1996, and no one has taken it off him since. And how he would love the number 12 there with that tackle on Shane Webcke. How would he love to beat the Australians here, because he's lost his last 7 meetings against the old enemy from down under. This is Kimmorley. Gets the ball away to Andrew Ryan. Kimmorley was certainly tormenting Great Britain in that first half. Craig Wing still out there, dummy half. He's got Mark O'Mealy. Danny McGuire did well to Stuart Fielden. Do they really look that similar? That's Wing. This is Kimmorley.
Well, not really.
Through the middle.
Not really, Eddie. One's 6'4", and the other one's a lot shorter, I'm sure. But that's good kick and change from Australia. They know they're trying to force the error. They know that they've got to get good field position. So important. But as I mentioned, Great Britain cannot just close this game down. They've got to still be adventurous. Good play from dummy half. They've got to keep asking that question.
Good work around the marker position from Tonie Carroll. Well, I wonder what the word is from the British camp, and indeed from Wayne Bennett. Chris Warren's with the Aussies, Bill Arthur's with the British.
Eddie, as you can imagine, the Great Britain camp delighted with the way they finished off that first half, and the aim is to continue in that same vein, keep cool, and don't try and force the pace, but just carry on playing the way they were. The one concern for Great Britain was the non-reappearance of Ryan Bailey on the sidelines. As I speak, he's just come out and taken his seat on the bench, but he's got a bit of a back problem. He stayed on in the dressing room after they came back out for more treatment on that back. Now they're hoping that he will be able to return. Chris?
Well, the good news for the Kangaroos, no injuries to speak of, but no real panic in the camp at this point in time. Wayne Bennett was just a little bit disappointed that they gave away really 12 points. They gifted 12 points to the Lions, and they were on the 5th tackle. An interesting theme that seems to be recurring on this tour. The Kangaroos, when they're applying pressure on the line, they then lapse for a minute. In the next set of 6, they've had points scored against them. So they need to pick up the attention span after they've had a good piece of attack. Interestingly, Wayne Bennett has opted to start the second half with a totally different pack. He has rested Civoniceva, Buderus, Fitzgibbon and Nathan Hindmarsh. Now, I do know a few weeks ago, these Aussies, when they were in London, they were touring the Monopoly board sites. I have a feeling their get-out-of-jail card was used 2 weeks ago in Huddersfield.
Well, we shall see. That was a great chase by Kimmorley, and that's a great wrestle by Reardon. Some valuable meters made there by the Bradford Bulls youngster, Carney. Not tackled, now he is.
A lot more venom in the defence from Australia after the restart. It was expected.
Sculthorpe no way through.
The unknown territory, really, for the Australians to be so far behind at half-time.
Well, I mentioned at the half-time, Steve-O, remembered at Hull last year, Britain had a 12-point lead and eventually lost the Test match. Oh. Shaun Long was taken a bit late there by Tonie Carroll. The referee asked for a report from the touch judges and allows Luke Rooney to run this ball forward.
Well, I think you'd have to say that Tonie Carroll had committed himself pretty close to it.
Mark O'Mealy. Such a difficult man to put down, Mark O'Mealy. They call him the Ogre or Shrek. That's his nickname. This is Berrigan. Newton had to clasp that ball around the chest of Berrigan. Here is Wing, now it's with Minichiello. Minichiello just delaying the pass, taking the tackle himself. They're inside the danger zone, 9 metres away from the British line. Craig Wing waits, and he will find Brett Kimmorley. And Kimmorley will give it to O'Mealy, and he will march through. Mark O'Mealy to score under the post on his Test debut. The defence just melted away. It was a brilliant pass, but what a run from Mark O'Mealy.
And what a superb offload from the halfback, Brett Kimmorley. Again, a thorn in the British side. This is nothing short of superb. It may look easy, but it's all about timing. And O'Mealy came at the very, very right moment. And it stunned the crowd here. It was quality. He's a great player, this youngster.
He is, and he has scored 3 tries on this tour already for against Cumbria for the Anzacs. Just a couple of weeks ago, Mark O'Mealy, the game that really allowed some of the fringe players in the Kangaroo squad and the New Zealand squad to maintain match fitness. And Paul Sculthorpe there is reading the riot act now to his players. Kimmorley here to maybe notch his first international goal for the green and golds. Bang in front. Fitzgibbon still off the field, and Kimmorley has the extras. It's 18-12. This match is not over yet.
Plenty of time to go, and he's the hero yet again for the green and golds. But there's a man that picked up the 4 that turned into 6. As you say, they call him Shrek, but they'll need more than a donkey to help them on this occasion, I can assure you. Britain have to lift their game again. They cannot let the psychological problems that has haunted them in the past get in the way of their job.
We will see Mark O'Mealy, we'll see Willie Mason, Andrew Ryan and 1 or 2 others of this Australian national side in the World Club Challenge against Leeds at Ellen Road next February. That date has now been confirmed. It's February the 4th. And it is live, of course, on Sky Sports. We will kick off the new season of Super League 10 from Elland Road on the 4th of February next year. We will end this year at Elland Road, of course, in 2 weeks' time. And will it be Great Britain to face Australia in that Tri-Nations final? Or will New Zealand still live on at the end of this half?
You know, Eddie, you've seen Paul Sculthorpe talking behind the try line there. I think some of the words you've been saying to the players was, look, you get confidence out of your defence. Our defence has been outstanding. And in the first half, their nomination and anticipation of where the threat was coming from was outstanding. There was no threat coming outside of O'Mealy. And people were going out instead of coming forward and dealing with the immediate. And he's probably saying, listen, guys, let's go up and deal with the immediate. Don't worry about some mirage that might be on the outside.
Talking of mirages there, that was a dodgy offload.
Wellens did well to pouch it from Carney, but how about the kick and how about the chase from Australia that's put Britain under this pressure?
That has been the difference between the two sides, I must say. The fact that the Australian kicking game, they put it low under the ground, they make sure they dissect the two players, the fullback and the winger, and it just gives you that advantage to get the momentum. And it's very, very similar to last week, where New Zealand couldn't get out of their own half and Great Britain took control of it. We are now seeing exactly the same for Great Britain.
That was another kick from Shaun Long that went straight down the throat of Luke Rooney. He gets them to halfway on the first tackle, and here is Minichiello. Britain just hanging off. Morley is back with Farrell. He brings Minichiello down. Now Webcke, short ball to Mason. Oh, call forward.
It was. Good work from the touch judge on this near side. Been a couple from Australia. They do delay that pass. It's a flat pass. No doubt about it in my mind that Willie Mason was just in front when Webcke offloaded.
Ian, we've been seeing that in Super League all this year, this flat pass, and I know it's something you utilise at St Helens, don't you? That was marginal.
Well, I think it's bringing a bloke on the ball. It's called support play. It's called enthusiasm. It's called all those things, and you can pick them up all the time in rugby league. You know, and I think we've got to watch we don't become too pedantic about it. You know, that's why our game's so much greater than Union, where you know we have that fairly well controlled. I don't think it's an issue in the game, but interesting thing with the ball at the ground, McGuire was picking up and about to take off. Maybe, you know, play on might have been a different area.
This is Farrell for Great Britain. He gets the offload away, but it's on the bounce to Sculthorpe, and he has found Wellens. He's trying to go round the outside of Willie Tonga, couldn't do. Carney will wait, and Carney will run laterally. Now he'll straighten it up. He went past Willie Mason, can't get away from the next two.
Keep the ball.
Morley and Webcke.
Keep the ball low.
It's gone high from Long, and Minichiello collects it, and Morley missed him by a mile. Ellis and Sculthorpe didn't. And you make a good job that Adrian Morley did miss him by a mile. Remember what happened here last year.
I'll tell you what, Eddie, you know, people sitting back at home have got to understand how brave has a fullback got to be. There's all these 16-stone people charging, the ball swirl in the air, and you got 20-something thousand people in a stadium, you know, death riding you. You know, that takes some go in you, I'll tell you what.
It was a great take by Minichiello. That's why the Australians have possession here with Umili. Oh, it's a lovely step. A lovely step here by Wing, and Wing has got Minichiello in support, and the ball goes to ground, but luckily for Australia it's picked up by Wing again.
That'll be back to 6. Certainly touched by a British player.
Yes, the referee has wiped the count down. It's Kimmorley. Ooh, and Morley got him round the collar. We all took a sharp intake of breath then. This is Scott Hill, and he gets the ball away. It went backwards. The tackle count continues. Ryan to Civoniceva. Now Britain have got to muscle up in defence here. Craig Wing again. Kimmorley to Minichiello, trying to go inside Long, and Shaun Long does well, helped out by Senior. Last one.
Took a big gamble there. Shaun Long came out of the one line.
Berrigan.
Made sure he got in though.
Kimmorley a high, hanging crossfield kick. Luke Rooney's after this. Gleeson pouches it though.
Good stuff. Tremendous
Hurt
take
there.
from Gleeson.
Gleeson was hurt there. Here's Carney.
Great to see the winger as well. Carney, he always comes looking for the football. There's the problem with Martin Gleeson. Maybe that left leg.
Here's Senior.
Been pretty quiet as Keith Senior throughout this series.
Well, we've talked about him as being one of the great centres in world rugby during the course of Super League 9.
Well, if ever there's a time that we need him to really get that top form that we've seen through this season playing for Leeds. Oh, that looked high there from Brett Kimmorley.
Steve, the other big thing about Great Britain's performance is their ability to regroup after Australia's made a break, to create back a smooth line and get numbers back in the frame. That's been very good. And the other area they've been very good when they've been under a lot of pressure is their ability to get out of their half. They've done it very well. They've worked the work rate around very well there. There's two vital areas why they're in front at the moment.
Well, they did on that occasion when Craig Wing threw the dummy from the dummy half, went through, full credit to them. They did get back in numbers. But the biggest problem, and we've known it for a long, long time, is that when you start doing things like that, it takes its toll. It takes a bit of gas out of the tank.
But the problem is, Sivo, they're starting their first tackle on their 40. We need them to start on their try line.
This is Andrew Ryan. He's made a half break, and Britain desperate in defence. Morley and McGuire. Here is Craig Wing. Back it goes to Scott Hill, and Scott Hill escapes the clutches of two, gives it to Brett Kimmorley, and he will fire it wide on the bounce. And it comes back this way with Berrigan, and Berrigan to Kimmorley again. He steps away from Farrell, away also from the substitute Paul Johnson. It's the last one though, and Berrigan waits, and here is Scott Hill again, and the kick all along the ground, and Carney calls and picks up, and Carney gets out of trouble for Britain and steps away from the challenges, and still going Carney.
Great effort. He's worked overtime, and there you see him having a real go at the referee Glenn Black, saying that he got one right in the mush. But that's the type of spirit that you have to show, and Carney has done that in this tournament throughout, and so is this fella here, Stuart Reardon. Do you know, the two wingers, they are showing the way for this Great Britain side.
Here's Paul Johnson again, gets the offload into Newton, he finds Farrell. Farrell stands, then takes the tackle, and it was a little dangerous that. The legs were up, and he looks at Glenn Black, and he looks at Civoniceva. That's a lovely dab from Sculthorpe. It's found McGuire. He's away from Minichiello, and McGuire. It's opened up for McGuire. Flicks the pass back. Hindmarsh gets the tackle in, and Hindmarsh forces Reardon over the line.
Well, they bombed it. The Australians were screaming for an obstruction. They thought that Shaun Long had gone across. What a beautiful chip over the top. McGuire knew exactly what Sculthorpe was doing, but watch this. Long got in the way. You can see there that Matt Singh says it's got to be.
Hindmarsh to the rescue again for Australia, though. Remember, he charged down Andy Farrell's drop goal at the City of Manchester.
He's a workaholic, we know that, Nathan Hindmarsh. But what an opportunity. It must be going through the youngster's mind, you know, Danny McGuire. Should I have gone for the corner? Should he have gone for it? I think he may have got there.
Gee, two words coming to my mind there. Run, Forrest, run. You know what I mean? Keep running. And the other one for Hindmarsh is the harder I work, the luckier I get. And he kept working and he got lucky.
This man, Craig Wing, great ball to Willie Mason.
He's cutting them apart, Eddie, is the substitute, Craig Wing. It was a point that we made that Great Britain, on the subs bench, didn't have someone with so much speed. Australia have.
Kimmorley, good tackle by Adrian Morley. Australia just starting to toy with Great Britain. This is Minichiello. Good tackle, low down by Martin Gleeson. This is the last one, Rooney. Oh, and Kimmorley manages to hang on to that. Stabs the ball to the in-goal area. Reardon with work to do, and does it.
Hey, did someone put a jump lead on all these players and charge them up? Because of the volume of this game and the intensity and going from end to end has just gone through the roof.
It's a terrific contest, it really is. It's a full-blooded test match in the Gillette Tri-Nations number 5. 2 to go. Next week, Great Britain, New Zealand, then the final at Ellen Road. Sculthorpe, bullet pass to Gleeson. Gleeson, back it goes. And Ellis got it away to Carney, but Australia muscling up in defence on the fourth tackle. Off the deck, Sculthorpe, all round the ankles of Farrell. And Farrell taking on Hindmarsh, but having to surrender in the tackle.
Tremendous pace this game has been played.
Long with another kick down the line, but again...
It's a poor one. What on earth is going on out there? Surely they've got to get the message. Get Farrell to start kicking. Push it further down. It's obvious that Shaun Long is not getting the length.
Sean O'Loughlin is out there, and that's his first tackle of the Test match in International Rugby League. Test match on his home ground, Test debut. This is Luke Rooney. O'Loughlin, who would have been playing in the first match against Australia 2 weeks ago, but for sickness. And then he was left out last week. Here is Hindmarsh, tackled on the far side, and remember the charge down from the drop goal attempt by Farrell in Manchester 2 weeks ago. He has been a thorn in the side as well. The ball went backwards. Kimmorley is able to pick up and carry on. That's the last one.
Having all sorts of problems, aren't they, again with Brett Kimmorley and of course Craig Wing.
Here is Wing. There's the kick high. This is a tester for Carney. He's head and shoulders behind Luke Rooney. That's a knock on. And here goes Wellens.
Got to muscle up now, Great Britain.
Carney called for it and got it.
They've got to try to make sure they get to anywhere around the halfway line with the sets of 5. Then make sure that we get a good kick. We haven't had a chance to apply the pressure on the Australians in their own quarter.
Done a lot of work in defence, Keith Senior. We haven't seen too much of him in attack so far.
Field position is going to be so important, especially late when we go into the final quarter.
Here's Farrell. Hangs on, doesn't release the ball, takes the tackle, attracts 3 green and gold jerseys to him. The last time that Britain enjoyed back-to-back international wins, by the way, 2001, France and then Australia. It would be a real feather in their cap if they went New Zealand and Australia in successive weeks. That's a better kick from O'Loughlin. It turns Minichiello round, and O'Loughlin looking for support with the chase.
There it shows you the importance. Forcing the one man. Australia pretty slow to get back and support.
They still get the ball away though, and here is Matt Singh.
The biggest problem though is that the Australians are so adept at making a break from deep within their own quarter. We've got to make sure that our defence is solid, especially out wide. Go as a unit, go straight.
Buderus, a bit of a grab by Long. It was a little high, it was round the ears. That was a tackle by Senior.
Eddie, I think Stevo makes a point there about the defence coming up as one line.
Oh, what a ball that was from Wing. Found Minichiello.
The Australians are turning the point back into the inside, and your desire and the ability to shut the ball on the inside will be very important for Great Britain.
Sculthorpe does well, stood his ground then. Kimmorley chip over the top.
Well, that's great respect for the Great Britain defence. Kimmorley realising that they've kicked on 2 occasions into the corner, the little chip over. Sculthorpe ever so well.
Adrian Morley, straight at Brett Kimmorley. And with Buderus, the British prop forward brought down. McGuire's operating at dummy half. He finds Shaun Long. And Shaun Long almost making the break. Coming up to the final quarter of this match, and Britain with a 6-point advantage. Here is Sculthorpe. Now it's with Peacock. Oh, he goes in front, or rather behind O'Loughlin. Australia looking for a penalty for obstruction again. McGuire. Farrell will hoist the bomb, but no pressure on Rooney at all. Well, Farrell took control of the kicking then, and the script didn't change much.
No, it really is disappointing to see time and time again. We saw there that Luke Rooney could have made a cup of tea before taking that football. You've got to try to force the error, because sadly, in games like this, it's been an absolute classic. But you can guarantee that late on it'll be a bad mistake. Someone who's just a little bit tired, not up to the pace of the game.
And here now is Andrew Ryan. Gives it width and finds Willie Mason. Willie Mason, and Long does well. And so too does Paul Johnson and Keith Senior. Last one. Under pressure, Kimmorley. 2 British players collided with each other almost then. Look at the chase from the green and gold jerseys. Magnificent.
I
Long and Adrian Morley it was who flattered each other.
I was going to say, Eddie, that was Morley, a front rower. You know, that takes plenty of get up and go to do that. Long's done extremely well, and that just shows the intensity of the game at the moment. No one wants to give a yard. Every team's trying to get the little things right, not the big play right. The little thing will keep Australia in it and create pressure. The little things will keep Great Britain in the lead and win the game.
Sculthorpe pushed the ball in field to Senior. He did well to hang on to that. McGuire finds Farrell.
He was well spotted, though, by Andrew Ryan. He knew the quality of Sculthorpe. It's about the 4th time that he's done the inside pass. And now it's McGuire. It's poor.
Straight down the throat of Minichiello again.
That shows sheer panic, Eddie.
Oh, here's Rooney. And Gleeson with the tackle. Let's get down to Bill. News of Ellis.
Concerns for Great Britain. Gareth Ellis came off a few moments ago, was taken straight to the dressing room. It looks like a rib injury. The team doctor has gone down there as well. That could be a problem. They're going to need all hands to the pumps in the closing stages.
Are they ever? This is Fitzgibbon. 18 minutes to go.
And remember, Eddie, a draw is not sufficient for Great Britain to get through to the final. The Kiwis in the first game of this in Auckland, they drew with Australia, so they would have to win again.
Berrigan! And Lachlan was the right man in the right place at the right time.
Well, that's what we're talking about, that inside defence, aren't we? They made a break and they had to work on the inside there. And that's going to be how desperate this game is. If you knock off on the inside, you'll get beaten when you think the ball will leave you.
Well, Carney just cannot get through. How much energy do these two teams have left? It has been a long and grueling season, both in the NRL and in the Super League. And it all now comes down to fitness. It all now comes down to desire. Last tackle, great defence from Australia, just 24 metres made. The kick from Long should be good. All right, let it be a good one from Sculthorpe, and it is over the top this time. At least it bounces. How's the chase? Well, it's laboured. Minichiello bounces off Peacock, and he almost gets round Carney and Gleeson.
Just shows you, Eddie, that both sides are feeling the pinch now. It's been one heck of a game out there.
And don't forget this flu virus that has swept the British camp. Let's hope that the doctors have done their work. They've been working really hard to get this team 100% fit for this massive challenge. And look at the tackle count. Great work by Long. He harassed Kimmorley then. Here is Berrigan. Goes back on the inside to wing. This is Hindmarsh. This is Buderus again. Kimmorley. Here they come, Australia with Kimmorley. Couldn't get the ball away.
That'll be the turnover.
And it's the turnover. Wonderful defence.
It had to be as well. Jamie Peacock.
Well, he has run his blood to water throughout this campaign, Jamie Peacock.
Both coaches looking very, very strained.
Penalty here to Great Britain, and that's a relieving penalty. Kimmorley just wouldn't get out of the way. Quick tap, taken by Great Britain. Sculthorpe.
Quick thinking. He could see that the Australians had turned their back on the football.
Well, is there a hero out there for Great Britain? Is there a hero out there for Australia?
Well, it's things like that that can turn it. You know, you could see that the Australians just held back. They were shouting and having a go at the officials. And by that time, Sculthorpe had sneaked 30 metres.
But I've got to say, Steve, also with a quick tap, it shows the intentions of Great Britain. They're not trying to slow the momentum down and try and grind the wind away. What they want to do, they are up in the ante. Australia's up in the ante. It's like serve for serve. They're both like tennis players on the back end of a volley line, I should say the baseline, and they're hitting the ball back, and no one wants to give a yard at the moment. I reckon they should be complimenting Great Britain the way they're up in the ante. They're not sitting down.
They certainly are, but with our kicking game, it's hitting the net far too often.
Oh, Lachlan, that's a much better one. It will stand, though, for Minichiello. Steve, at 18-12, it is now the time for a one-pointer, but Britain have not been in the position to get a one-pointer yet. That
has been their biggest problem, and that's been brought about by hard work, getting themselves near to the halfway line, and then just squander their possession with a poor kick.
Drive forward by Fitzgibbon again, and Farrell and Lachlan. The family connection from Wigan there. Here is Mason. Lachlan's on his back, and Mason is hauled down.
To be fair, it's a pretty good move as well by the British coach Brian Noble to bring Shaun O'Loughlin on. He's taken the ball first receiver on a couple of occasions and got the three-quarter line moving.
Last tackle here for Australia. Kimmorley will stand and play the ball to Buderus. It then goes to Craig Wing, who will pepper Brian Carney again. That's hanging, and Carney gets it cleanly, and he shows a clean pair of heels to two, but then Buderus and Berrigan, Webcke and company, they force him back.
Deserves a medal, Brian Carney.
8 tackles already since he came on, Shaun O'Loughlin.
Now can Britain get themselves into a pretty good field position.
Wellens.
I don't think it's been a great play by Australia kicking the Carney. He's the one who keeps bringing it around their half. He's getting early ball in the air and he's bringing it back so well at the moment. And I just think they need to change that. If you said there's an energy meter for both teams, I think at the moment they're both getting down very, very low for both teams. Not just one team, both.
That went backwards off long, play on, but he's in a bit of trouble here. He gets it away to Sculthorpe. Can Sculthorpe get the kick in? He does. Straight down the middle. It'll bounce on, it bounces backwards. Minichiello picks up, does well, gets the ball away.
Great pressure by the Australians there. They had to farm the ball out wide. Shaun Long there, but it just shows you the experience of Paul Sculthorpe. He knew that Long was in a lot of trouble and he carted back 15 metres.
Gareth Ellis is back on the field. We heard there were concerns from Bill Arthur about Gareth Ellis, but he's out there. Number 17 on his back. And there he is in the tackling already. He made one just a moment ago. That's the second. McGuire's there as well, and that's a penalty.
And that's
silly penalty.
It is, because he had a second pull. He'd done all the hard work and then had a second pull of the leg. It's just not needed.
And this is pressure now. This is pressure on the British line now.
Especially with the fact that the British boys know that the Australians are so adept at scoring in the last final minutes. Psychologically, they've got us on the run.
This is Buderus. Buderus so close. And he's almost in touch. They tried desperately, the British defence, to get him over the line. Wouldn't go. This is Willie Mason. Willie Mason again. Hauled down. 3 tackles gone. 3 remaining. Hands out. Buderus waits. Spins it to Kimmorley. Wing is on his inside. Goes further wide to Berrigan. And Berrigan is halted, but gets the ball away. And here is Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon for the line. And Britain again in defence. Tackle number 4. Matt Singh. Kimmorley waits, finds Minichiello. Scott Hill. And Scott Hill gets the ball back. This is Willie Tonga. And Britain again stop the green and gold machine. Last one.
Wonderful defence there. Willie Tonga had a little bit of a swipe at Carney.
It's Scott Hill. They have a man over on the far side wide. Berrigan, great flick pass, and another. This is Matt Singh, and Britain hold him out. Well, he's called, how many times have we called last here? Buderus, Kimmorley. Kimmorley stabs the ball looking for Hindmarsh. It's on the post. And Sculthorpe has it, but it's over the line.
What pressure.
It's a penalty to Great Britain. They're all offside.
Beside the 10 metres. Got a call from the touching, Danny.
Well, he's saying that they should have given him the 10 metres. They're all onside.
I also think, Steve-O, that we had 2 last tackles called.
Well,
there's the man who's offside.
He's called that Hindmarsh is offside. I'm not so sure, Eddie. That is a big call.
Well, Great Britain won't be complaining. That's a relieving penalty.
And neither will I.
Fielden will carry the battle forward again.
Roll up the sleeves. That's what's needed now.
Well, Britain need field position near the post and then maybe a 1-pointer.
Of course.
And I've called for it before you tonight.
I know, but they just can't get anywhere near it. And that's where, you know, the forwards have got to step up a bit.
Ian, this is the time for the 1 point, if they can get the field position.
Well, at the moment, Eddie, I don't think it's in the vocabulary. If you get there, have a shot at it. I just think the way they defended their line was absolutely outstanding. They are working for it now. This is an indication teams are getting tired when you can start running from dummy half and make easy yardage, but
Sculthorpe wants it, Farrell wants it, Farrell with a drop goal attempt. He's missed it.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it, throughout this series. I don't think we've had one. I think we've had about 15 from all three countries that have gone for the 1 point. I put the mocker on everybody, not one has got there.
Craig Wing.
If there's one guy that's going to really break our hearts, it's got to be Craig Wing.
Well, what about Kimmorley? What about Scott Hill? There's Kimmorley, there is Hill. Almost to the halfway line. 2 tackles gone. Australia, Berrigan the dummy half. And O'Loughlin launches himself in the tackle.
To be fair, I think the Great Britain defence has done a good job on Scott Hill. They've forced him back on the inside nearly all throughout this game.
Wing to O'Mealy. O'Mealy, a bounce pass to Minichiello. Scott Hill again. Danny McGuire falls off 1 tackle. Senior was there to cover. Here is Buderus. Buderus back on the inside to Fitzgibbon. Here's Kimmorley again. And Kimmorley tormenting them with a kick down the line, looking for Luke Rooney. Carney does well.
Superb night, Brian Carney. Read it the strip so well.
Well, Rooney tackled Brian Carney.
Well, he tried, didn't he? Could have been a penalty. Otherwise, it's a dropout.
Well, it's a dropout, says the referee, and he's held the clock up. Great work from Carney in defence.
He's been outstanding.
18-12. Australia have used all of their interchanges. 12 gone. Britain with 2 remaining. And that could be crucial too.
Certainly could, Eddie, but you know, the noise from this crowd is unbelievable.
Tonga for Australia, and I think Andy Farrell was looking for touch then from the dropout. And the crowd trying to rally Great Britain as O'Mealy takes them on again. Oh, and he really punishingly ran at Stuart Fielden then. Buderus, Kimmorley, Webcke. Can Great Britain hold them out? Buderus, Kimmorley, Scott Hill on 1 lead, gets it away, and Britain muscle up again in defence out wide. 4 gone. Minichiello waits at dummy half. Kimmorley is there and they find him. He looks for Scott Hill, and Scott Hill finds O'Mealy, and then it goes back. And here now is Andrew Ryan, and that ball goes to ground. But Australia retain possession with Kimmorley, who'll take the last tackle.
Will they punch towards the post yet again?
Buderus, they're coming down the short side with Wing, and Wing's kick is too deep. Britain survive. They are 6.5 minutes away from victory.
They put their bodies on the line and they still keep applying the pressure to Brian Carney, but everything they've thrown at him, he's come up trumps. He's been dealt a pretty good hand of cards tonight.
Brian Noble looks very cool, calm and collected.
You know, the pleasing thing for Brian Noble and his staff and also the players is, yeah, they probably acknowledge they've had a lot of ball against New Zealand in the second half and against Australia in the first half, and they've had a win and a close loss. But tonight they've had to defend, and they've just shown this Great Britain team defensively they can match it with anyone. They've been put under the sword and they've come up trumps.
If the match lasts 74 minutes, they've come up trumps.
I know, and not only that, Ian, I must say, is that you've got to give credit to Brian Noble. He has backed his own players. We've been calling for different sections. We've been saying, let's change it. But he's backed the players out there, and they're rewarding him so far.
And there is Newton again. Wing with the tackle, it's the last one. And Sculthorpe will drill it to the touchline.
That's what's needed. And
Newton leaves the field, by the way, and he's replaced by Peacock. 5.5 minutes to go.
And Brian Noble knows that is an important kick, because what they've got to do now is just walk to this scrum.
Well, the referee stopped the clock, so
it doesn't matter. At least they can get their defensive line set up.
Hey, listen, guys, stop panicking. They've thrown everything at the area for 30-something minutes, and they've controlled it. At the moment, I wouldn't be surprised Great Britain score trying to wrap it up. Australia are getting tired, I'm telling you.
We've been down this road so many times.
I tell you what, there's 20-something thousand people who are going to jump the fence and defend for him anyway, I think.
Remember last year in the last test, 2 tries in the last 2 or 3 minutes. This isn't over yet. And 5 minutes remaining.
I can remember Manchester and our guest, Mal Meninga, just breaking our hearts as well.
Yes.
And this is where they've got to really lift now.
Well, they have defended for their lives all night, and that's a wonderful tackle from Gleeson. Ryan to Kimmorley, shape for the kick, flung it wide to Scott Hill, and he will come inside, got the ball away, Senior to win the test, Senior to win the match for Great Britain, Keith Senior with the try. It was a gift. It was wrapped up in green and gold ribbon, and Keith Senior swooped, and that will do it. Ian Millward tipped Great Britain to score a try, and Ian Millward, we take our hats off to you.
Well, it was desperation stakes for Australia. They had to throw everything at it. And you've got to compliment Great Britain. The way they pushed up, no one hung back and said, what are you going to deliver? They pushed up and forced an error. And that's a great thing when you force an error.
And that's what they've done virtually all night on the stand-ups, Scott Hill. They really have forced him. And when you're chasing the game, like on this occasion, he knew he had to put it. He positioned himself so well to Keith Senior. But not only that, watch how he runs on the arc. He'll run on the angle and go away from the defence that's coming at him. He knows they're coming, and that's the way. He run on the arc away. That's it. Britain are in the Tri-Nations final. This will wrap it up. Listen to the crowd here. It's been a long time coming as this. Sheer desperation, and sometimes when you're desperate, it can all go ever so wrong. But they won't mind. They know they are Tri-Nation final bound.
And so do those three. Phil Clark, the manager, Brian Noble, the head coach, and his assistant, John Sharp. They're on the way down to the sideline, and Andy Farrell's going to make it 4 from 4, and Great Britain are going to go home with a win against the world champions. And they are in the Tri-Nations final. 24 points to 12. Andy Farrell's Lions have beaten the world champions here at Wigan. There can be no comeback now for Australia, surely. Well, have they tied the Kangaroos down?
Well, they have on this performance, and it will be so much of a confidence boost to them.
Great Britain get the possession from a short kick-off by Australia. Such desire in the white jerseys.
It has been a tremendous effort. And the ironic thing about it is that the Australian coaches, the Australian players, they will all say that the defence will win you a game. And it has turned around. It has been Great Britain that has been stronger in the end in that department.
Oh, Fitzgibbon and Sculthorpe having a do. Well, Fitzgibbon certainly put the elbow in. Oh, look at this. Marco Mealy's involved. Marco Mealy and Sculthorpe. Well, what an error. Farrell being the peacemaker.
Well, why on earth did Marco Mealy come in from outside?
Well, he was swinging at Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe and Fitzgibbon having a do.
Sculthorpe was having a real old go with Craig Fitzgibbon, and then Fitzgibbon lost his cool and went in with a forearm. But of claret all over the place. Didn't like it.
Well, he had a right go at him.
He did.
And then there was a bit of flicking going on the ground, and then it all started.
He gave him a facial here, watch. Right in the face, then brings down the elbow, then gives for another one, and not surprising, they've gone berserk.
Penalty against us. Okay. The aggressor. Okay. Number 11, and one number 13.
both. The touch judge on the far side has said penalty Great Britain.
Pull Sculthorpe!
Yeah.
Eddie! Pull Sculthorpe!
Well, they're trying to find Paul Sculthorpe, who seems to be hiding behind everyone else. Now he...
Well, he wasn't hiding in the shake-up, I'll tell you.
First offence I saw was Craig Fitzgibbon, number 11, dropped in with the elbow into the head of the tackle, the player in possession, and that's what started. That was the first offence.
Okay, right, I'm going to... Right, the penalty against you, it's bad discipline, that it will go on report as well. Penalty against you. Yeah, that's going on report.
And the whole schmozzle goes on report.
I must say, fair play to this fella. You saw him there just lean over and say to Sculthorpe, it's all part of the game. Great team spirit from both angles there. And they've done the right thing, Britain. They've kicked into touch. And why not just make me a happy, happy boy and go for a 1 point?
Well, they're looking for 4 with Shaun O'Loughlin. They're looking to really post a notice for this Tri-Nations final. Carney!
What a game he's had. He's just been everywhere.
O'Loughlin. Peacock. Quick play the ball. O'Loughlin again to Sculthorpe. On the fly. He finds Fielden.
This is it!
Well, they're right under the sticks. They're not interested, are they? Farrell will kick wide looking for Carney. Rooney's there. Rooney claims it, and Rooney is grounded in the in-goal area. It's a drop out underneath the sticks.
And who's all over him like a rash? This fella. What a comeback from this bloke. 6 or 7 weeks ago, you know, Brian Carney was hobbling around like a 59-year-old with gout.
You know, Steve Allen, totally against the drop goal there, because your last impressions should be your best impressions. And the last impressions to Australia is, we're ruthless, we're going to keep coming after you, we're going to keep making you work it. And that's what you want to do before you go into a final.
Never mind that, Ian. That whistle and the hooter will sound extremely sweet.
Fitzgibbon with the tackle on Paul Sculthorpe. Good to see that the schmozzle between the two of them is not ongoing. Oh, the pass! The pass from Peacock almost found Danny McGuire. But this scrum will come down, and it will be the end of the match. And Wayne Bennett will have lost his first international. Brian Noble will have won his first international against Australia at any level. And there's the full-time siren. And the last Great Britain win of 12 points or more against Australia was way back in Melbourne, 1992, 33 points to 10. Bill Arthur is with the British coach, a delighted Brian Noble.
Brian, you said before the game you felt there was better to come from your side. It certainly came in this second half, didn't it?
Yeah, we didn't start it too well. We didn't start either half very well. It's a good team, you know. We believe in each other, and we have done all along. We know we're a very good team. We can win this competition, but still got 2 games to go now. We've put ourselves beyond our first goal, which was getting to the final. But we know that Australia will improve as well. So we're very, very delighted to be where we're at, and the players deserve all the credit.
Would the most pleasing factor be the defensive effort they showed in this second half when under so much pressure?
Well, let's rejoice. Been telling us for 30 years that we can't defend. I think we've shown in the last 3 games that we're a pretty good defensive team with good athleticism, and when we want, we can play.
And another key word, belief.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of that. You know, we've been confident right from day one since we went to Spain. Our expectancy was not just to do well in the competition, but to first to get to the final and to win it.
And now keep your feet on the ground, I suppose.
And that's the big task for us. We don't get carried away. We played pretty well, but there's areas of our game we can improve on.
Thank you, Brian. Well done.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And well done to Brian Noble and his squad.